My dear sister Shirley, Lagos, born, studied, went to Sunnyfields, Queen's College, not the high school for us, and then went to Unsuka, and then finally came back to Unilag. Then, you started teaching and of heritage in terms of River State and Anambra State. Wow, what an embodiment you are already, and the fact that what you said, starting Temple in 2004 with 7 children. Where are they now? Do you keep in touch with them?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
They're working.
Right. Okay.
They're working.
Right. So do they come back as alumni?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh
Are
yes.
they involved?
Oh yes. They are very involved.
That's
They once in a while we ask them to do videos and tell us what they're doing.
Right.
And they send those videos over and we show the rest of the students and you see,
There's
life at the
the
temple school.
possibility.
Yes, wonderful. All kinds of great things they're doing.
We started with where you started before,
Yes.
which is where the early
Years.
is. So now you have this other premises which is a bigger premises. So was there a need, was that growth thing, and you stayed at primary level and you're thinking of secondary school, or you stayed at primary?
Okay, when we started, we actually started as a nursery primary school.
Okay.
And we grew. We outgrew the space and we tried to do some extensions within the premises, which we achieved, and we outgrew that space. And so we had to come to this place. And when we came here, we introduced a secondary school as well.
Right.
So this building was actually meant to harbor both the primary and the secondary school. And it did for a couple of years for the secondary, until we got a visit from the Lagos State Ministry of Education that said they would rather primary and secondary students don't stay in the same premises. And so thankfully we found somewhere off Adeni Insurance.
Okay.
That's where we have our secondary school.
Okay.
It's actually a much bigger premises.
Oh, really?
It has
Okay.
a massive pool, it has football field, it has basketball courts, it has volleyball courts. It's just the ideal space for secondary. So they moved in.
So you have 3 premises?
I have 4.
Oh, 4.
Because
Okay.
after the secondary school, because of space too, we outgrew the space we had for secondary school, and so we decided to set up an A-level school.
Okay.
So we have an A-level school in Okpebi.
Wow.
So
I didn't
Temple
know all
School,
this.
oh yes.
Right.
A-level school in Okpebi.
Right.
So they do the OSSD, that's the Ontario, Secondary Certificate of School further education.
Right.
In Canada, they do the exams here. The education is also done here. We do the A levels, we do the foundation, we do the WAEC.
And so you're open to any learner that wants to. So it doesn't need to be a temple. Learning, for that. Okay,
yes.
wow, well done.
Yes, we're open to all that want to, whether you're coming from the Nigerian system, or you're coming from the UK or from America, we have provision for all of them.
And you follow the British international system.
That's it, that's what we follow. That's what we follow. But when you get to the college, depending on your pathway,
yes,
that's when we channel your education specifically to where you want to go to.
Wow. So what's the population like? Because obviously the next growth I'm thinking is university.
I've had that a few times.
Oh, right, you see? I'm prophesying it for you.
Amen. So it's a lot of work, and the population it's space-based,
right.
So it's a space we have that we would say we have outgrown, or we are or we're almost filling up. So this section we haven't outgrown it at all, because we
class size roughly
small. Small. COVID made it smaller. We had bigger class sizes until COVID.
Right.
So when COVID happened, we had to reduce the class sizes to give enough space. So now we would say 15.
Okay.
It's about the number we have in class.
Yes. In terms of one-on-one relation with the teacher.
Even some classes about 12, and that was a COVID thing.
Right.
But yes, that's what we have. So now we have more than enough space to grow into in the primary school.
Okay.
Our population is still under 1,000.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And the secondary?
Oh, no, I'm talking of the whole school.
Oh, the whole school
whole
altogether.
school, all
That's still good.
together,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Secondary,
amazing.
they're under 500.
Right.
Yes, but that they're good for that space where they have.
So what are some of the challenges, that I know you said earlier before we went on the break, you have no clue about business, you just
Yes.
were a passionate teacher who saw the need and had the dream, to work with children. What are some of the other challenges in terms of up till now from 2004? What has been your biggest challenge?
The challenge, I would say, one, staffing. With staffing, you find that you need to train and retrain
Right.
and keep training, and you cannot buy or infuse passion. You have to have it or you don't have it. So when you don't have that passion, it's difficult. If you have a member of staff who just wants a job,
Just want to be paid.
yes, just want to be paid and you just do the job and you go. For Temple School is different. You have to have a passion. You have to want not just for you to have a job, but for the children in your care to get the all-round experience that we want them to have. And you have to have it in your spirit. You have to have it in your bones. It has to show in all that you do that your priority is these children.
Yes.
So we find that that's a very difficult thing to come by. Some it just comes naturally to them, but a lot of them it doesn't come natural to them. They want a job, they studied education. A lot of them actually studied education because that was the course that they could find. And so there was no interest. And so they just fall back, okay, let me have a certificate, let me teach. And so when they come, they're like, no, this is not the place. So we have to organize lots of training sessions. Thankfully, COVID also opened up a lot of online training.
Right.
Because with COVID and the lockdown, lots of went online, so a lot of things had to happen online. So there are lots of trainings online that we have to, the British Council supports incredibly so with training, and so they have all of that to do. Plus other things that are specific to different departments apart from the general, like the facilities department. If you want, part of the beauty of a school is also the maintenance of the facilities. So a lot of times people look at one side of it and they don't see the other. You have to, and the cost of running a school, I didn't anticipate that cost. I didn't think, like I explained earlier, that having been a teacher and a head somewhere else, I didn't someone else picked up the bills. I didn't get to, really know what was happening. But when you weigh the cost of running a good world-class institution, it is money. You have to have the funds. And so for us to achieve that, thankfully my husband, who is a chairman also incidentally, he's a chairman of the board of governors, he studied business administration. He studied economics, so he had the know-how. So we were able to approach banks. That's another thing. You have to have very good accounting and very good record keeping and a very good relationship with your banks. Because the growth of Temple School is tied securely to the banks that supported us.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome to hear. Because sometimes we hear that banks don't, they're even the ones who stop a growth of a business. So it's good to know that you had
absolutely.
And I believe probably because your husband had the background,
banking,
banking background,
the economics
the
business,
and you have the
education. Yes.
So obviously
it worked well. Absolutely worked well. So that was one area that helped our growth.
Right. So what are you mostly proud of? What are you mostly proud of for Temple?
The products, our products, our children.
Right.
They are incredible. I look at them and I'm so proud. Some mornings when I go to visit the secondary school, and I see the students all tall, and I remember
When they were little, because you definitely
yes,
will have them
I've
starting
seen
at
them
early
transit,
years,
yes, primary, secondary, and I'm looking at them, they're taller than me, they're all confident, you know, outspoken,
Yes.
and it just amazes me. Sometimes when I see them when they have programs and the way they project the school, outside, inside, actually we call them temple ambassadors.
And they are.
And they have been wonderful
Yeah,
ambassadors
very
of the school.
Wow.
So yes, that's I think
That's
what gives me my
awesome.
greatest joy when I look and I see the products.
And I know some of the results, some of them are because I have a cousin, a lot of cousins' children actually attend Temple,
Yes.
and I know how they brag about their
Yes.
results proudly.
Yes.
You know, they do very well
They
at
do
Excel.
very well. They do
Well, you know what? We'll be right back for more.
Oh.